Obi-Wan Kenobi, everyone's favorite old man with a laser sword, has found himself awaiting an inevitable storm within the remote deserts of Tatooine. What will Obi-Wan do in the meantime? What key moments of his life will he reflect and record on for the future of the Jedi Order? Star Wars Obi-Wan Issue Number 1 comes out just in time to hype up the galaxy for the upcoming Obi-Wan show later on this May. Thus, it is a time to celebrate the life and history of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And that's what writer Christopher Cantwell does with this first issue. Now, I will say that this was by no means a perfect issue, but I'll get to that in just one moment. For now, let's talk about the positives, in a world where positives are hard to come by. Right off the bat, Christopher Cantwell is such an underrated writer, like Christ on wheels. If you guys haven't read his Doctor Doom book or his current Iron Man series, you guys need to get on top of that. But yeah, Cantwell is a great writer, and he most definitely showcases his talents within this first issue. He's able to find Obi-Wan's voice as if it were second nature to him, which is great. However, and this is just me nitpicking here, and yes, I am aware that this version of Obi-Wan is only 8 years old, but I don't believe that Obi-Wan Kenobi would risk everything to chase after some youngling who wanted to have nothing to do with the Order. This may just be a minor issue, but throughout my read, I kept picturing the Obi-Wan from The Phantom Menace. Obedient, calm, and logical, and sometimes played it more safe than Qui-Gon Jinn. I don't know, it just felt weird and different. And I've always been in the mindset that, it was really Anakin's personality who sort of kind of brought out the funness of Obi-Wan. Small critique, but still, it's there. Now, my main issue with the book is its length. It's extremely short, plus with Cantwell starting this mini out with a real basic adventure about younglings sneaking out late at night, like, so what? What's the incentive of me as a reader to want to check out issue 2? Fortunately, the art from Ario Anditio was fantastic. It gave this fun and vibrant aspect to the book, and the colors from Carlos Lopez injects a sense of adventure, and it definitely helps to make Coruscant look great, and have all the planet lights and nightlife pop up in the landscape. Overall, Star Wars Obi-Wan Issue Number 1 was a decent issue. I would have much preferred this mini to be similar to something like True Detective, where an unfinished mission is played out through the flashbacks, but it eventually crosses over to the present, where he's writing his journal. I would much prefer that than these episodic, random adventures of Obi-Wan's life. So yeah, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose some. Star Wars Obi-Wan Issue Number 1 gets a 6 out of 10. On the desert planet of Tatooine, somewhere within the western Dune Sea, we have ourselves an old Obi-Wan Kenobi. And upon feeling a simple touch from the whispers of the sandy winds, it becomes quite apparent to the old hermit that a huge sandstorm is approaching. Therefore, Obi-Wan begins to prep up his homestead, because given the fact that, this is going to be one heck of a storm, and there's no telling on how long the storm will last, Obi-Wan needs to get everything situated, since he'll have to remain within shelter during the course of it. Eventually, once everything is all said and done, Obi-Wan readies himself into his chair, and much like Stephen King or Bilbo Baggins of the Shire, Obi-Wan begins to write about his past experiences. And despite the fact that Tatooine is a hot place, the old Jedi Master feels cold, due to living alone. Thus, it's here where he begins to remember a certain experience from way back in his youngling days, back when the Jedi were still active, before the Dark Times, before the Empire. Thus, we are given a flashback many years prior to a young Obi-Wan, waking up from a terrible nightmare. Now, apparently Obi-Wan woke up because he sensed that his friend wasn't beside him, to which we see Obi sneaking out from his bed in search of Gren, whom he finds sitting outside the temple, viewing the majestic night sky of Coruscant. Now, seemingly Gren is having some nightmares about her father suffering back home, almost like she's getting visions of him dying, or worse. But Obi-Wan, being the good little student that he is, urges his best friend to return back to bed, because 1, we shouldn't be outside the temple at this hour, and 2, we have an early day tomorrow, where we're supposed to leave for the planet Ilum to participate in the gathering, which, in case you guys don't know, is when younglings get to pick out their kyber crystals for their lightsabers. So yeah, the more you know. However, Gren isn't planning on going. Rather, she's basically out here to say her goodbyes, to give the Jedi Temple one last look before jumping off the ledge down into the city streets. And although Obi-Wan is terrified to go down and venture the Coruscant street life, Obi-Wan is intent on saving and protecting his best friend. Thus, the young Jedi follows Gren into the bowels in the infested streets of Coruscant. Upon reaching the bottom, and after navigating the city streets covered in neon darkness, eventually Obi-Wan comes across a group of criminals, but as they attempt to slash at him, Obi-Wan tries his first Jedi mind trick move ever on the incoming Rodian. However, it doesn't work like it does in A New Hope. Instead, the Rodian's buddies snap him out of it. But luckily, Gren jumps into action, saving Obi-Wan from getting beaten up. However, it turns out that these criminals are actually working for Gren, to which we then see a Zabrak by the name of Nordis K, a ranking lieutenant in the criminal organization of Black Sun, who has been hired by Gren via her Adaim silver necklace in order to get her smuggled off-world over to her home planet, because Gren is completely convinced that her family is in dire need. However, it turns out that Gren never mentioned the fact that she's a Force user. Therefore, Force users are worth a whole lot of money, or a whole lot of Republic credits, more so than any necklace on the market. Thus, the Zabrak lieutenant orders her people to abduct the 2 Jedi so that they can sell them off and get a fortune. But it's with that where the 2 Jedi Younglings use the Force to break free from their shackles, and from there the 2 make their escape. But just as Obi-Wan tries to pull Gren back to the temple, she refuses, for she intends to stay behind and to return back to her father. And with that, she wishes her childhood best friend farewell, and may the Force be with you. Making his way back to the Jedi Temple, Obi-Wan is met with Master Yoda, who asks if Gren is truly gone. And after telling Yoda that he tried his best, Yoda reminds Obi-Wan that though his best friend kept him safe, and that the 2 of them looked after one another, at the end of the day, the only one who can truly look after Obi-Wan is Obi-Wan himself. And with that, Yoda hopes Obi-Wan will think long and hard on this new wisdom while sweeping the hallways of the Jedi Temple as punishment for sneaking out. And from there, we return back to the present, to where Obi-Wan is informing us via his journal that he never saw Gren again following that night, and he doesn't know whether or not she's alive or if she was ever able to save her father. But his only hope is that she didn't succumb to fear, just as Obi-Wan himself hopes to continue on doing, in order to hold back for what is to come for the future. And that, folks, was the end of Star Wars Obi-Wan, issue number 1. And thank you guys for checking out my video, as it truly means the world to me. And as always, I'm your majestic sayer of words, SuperCliff, and if you guys are new to the channel, then do me a solid by smashing that like and subscribe button, and also hit the notification bell so that you'll never miss out on an upload, and so that you'll always be kept up to date with your favorite top tier comics happening in the comic book world. Now tell me, what are your thoughts and opinions on this issue? Are you guys excited for issue number 2? And what are your thoughts on the upcoming Obi-Wan show? Let me know down in the comment section below. And until the next video, peace.